Napoleon Bonaparte is often celebrated as a hero who solidified many of the gains of the French Revolution. However, his rise to power also marked the subversion of the revolutionary ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity. While Napoleon maintained some of the revolutionary reforms, he ultimately undermined its core principles, replacing the radical transformation of French society with a dictatorial regime. The French Revolution's ideals. The French Revolution, 1789 to 1799, was a monumental event that sought to overthrow the Ancien Regime monarchy and establish a new republic based on the principles of democracy and civil rights. The revolutionaries were inspired by Enlightenment ideas, aiming for a society where all citizens were equal before the law and where freedom from oppressive rule was guaranteed. However, by the time Napoleon rose to power in the aftermath of the revolution, France was in chaos. The reign of terror had left the country unstable, and the revolutionary government had failed to establish a lasting peace or stable leadership. Napoleon capitalized on this instability to seize power. Napoleon's rise to power. In 1799, after a successful military career, Napoleon staged a coup d'etat and overthrew the Directory, the ruling body of France. He established the consulate, where he assumed the title of First Consul, effectively becoming the leader of France. In 1804, Napoleon declared himself Emperor of the French, cementing his authoritarian control. While his rise was initially seen as a way to stabilize France after the tumultuous years of revolution, his consolidation of power marked a clear departure from the republican ideals of the revolution. Napoleon's authority grew increasingly centralized, and his leadership became more autocratic, subverting revolutionary ideals. 1. The establishment of a dictatorship. Napoleon, despite initially promoting republican ideals, created a dictatorship that concentrated power in his hands. His role as emperor undermined the revolutionary principle of popular sovereignty, which held that the people should have the ultimate say in their government. He curtailed democratic participation by eliminating elections for public offices and replacing them with appointments based on loyalty and merit. 2. The Napoleonic Code. The Napoleonic Code, which Napoleon implemented in 1804, is often seen as a positive reform that codified civil laws and promoted legal equality. While it abolished feudal privileges and advanced some revolutionary reforms, it also undermined the progress made in areas like women's rights. Under the Code, women lost many of the freedoms they had gained during the Revolution, as it reinforced patriarchal control in the family and society. 3. End of political freedom. One of the core principles of the French Revolution was freedom of speech and the press. However, Napoleon curtailed these freedoms. He used censorship to suppress political dissent and control public opinion, stifling the political plurality that had emerged during the revolutionary years. The police state he established kept close surveillance over French citizens, and any opposition to his rule was ruthlessly suppressed. 4. The restoration of monarchical symbols. Napoleon's coronation as emperor in 1804 was a symbolic act that harkened back to the old monarchy, directly contradicting the revolution's goals of eliminating monarchical rule. Although Napoleon claimed that his reign was legitimate due to the will of the people, the imperial title and the elaborate ceremonies signified a return to absolute monarchy. Furthermore, Napoleon established a dynastic empire, ensuring that power would pass to his family, much like the old monarchs. 5. Expansionist ambitions. The revolution's ideals also promoted the idea of national sovereignty and the desire for the French people to determine their own destiny. Napoleon's military conquests across Europe, however, led to the imposition of French control over several territories, which was a form of domination rather than liberation. Napoleon justified his expansionist ambitions as spreading revolutionary ideals, but in practice, it often meant imposing his will on other nations, leading to the establishment of client states ruled by his relatives. Conclusion: while Napoleon Bonaparte is often credited with stabilizing post-revolutionary France and implementing some important reforms, his rise to power ultimately marked the subversion of the French Revolution's core ideals. His authoritarian rule, centralized power, and return to monarchical symbols betrayed the revolutionary vision of a republic based on equality, freedom, and democracy. In many ways, Napoleon replaced one form of tyranny with another, and his imperial ambitions reshaped Europe in ways that would have been unrecognizable to the revolutionaries who first took to the streets in 1789. Napoleon's legacy, therefore, is not only as a military genius, but also as a figure who both preserved and distorted the revolutionary promise of France.